This is The Hard Question on WCGO. Here's BQ.
You know, I talk about a teacher that I used to really admire, and I'm talking about the great teacher from L.A., who taught in Garfield High School in East L.A., Jaime Escalante. And, you know, it was so inspirational. He taught these kids that were potentially could have been gang members, and he got them to learn how to really master calculus. But then I thought, wait a minute, we have our own version of a Jaime Escalante here in the Chicagoland area at Adelaide Stevenson High School, and great students. And I'm talking about a teacher. We have him on now. This is like the second time we have Paul Kim on the show with his fabulous students. And this year, 5 students: Matthew Jalnos, Joey Rivkin, Tony Tan, Joshua Tsai, and the team leader, Angela Zhang from the Adelaide East Stevenson High School, are going to the finals in New York for the MathWorks Modeling M3 Challenge. And you are one of our role models out there, Paul. We're so proud that you've been doing such good work with these bright students. Congratulations.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say.
Now, tell us about the math challenge, because, this is the second time you all, you've been able to pull together a good group of students, and it's an interesting competition. Who's sponsoring it? Who's involved? And how many kids competed?
Sure. So this is the MathWorks Math Modeling Challenge, and what it is, it's a 14-hour competition where kids just start researching and put together ideas to create equations, functions that model a certain behavior. I'm going to have Angela describe this year's topic for us.
Oh, okay. So this year's topic was on drug use. Our problem had 3 parts. The first part was on forecasting the use of vaping over the next 10 years and comparing it to traditional cigarette usage. The second part was to create a model to predict the probability that a person would use nicotine, marijuana, alcohol, or opioids based off of their demographics. And the last part was to rank the societal impact of the 4 drugs mentioned in part 2.
Angela, you're such a smart woman, a young woman, and your team sounds like a great team. So your team now, when you're trying to figure this out, a lot of young kids are starting to vape as opposed to smoke. And how did you go around trying to figure out, first of all, the equation, and then the likelihood that they would continue, et cetera? Give us some of the analysis and the process.
All right. So first, we looked online at the national health surveys to determine in the past what vaping usage was like. Overall, there's definitely been a really big increase in vaping, especially among teens. And then to predict future use, we used a logarithmic regression, and we determined that it would probably level off at around 30% over the next 10 years, which, of course, might be subject to change based off of governmental policies or maybe different movements against vaping and such. To predict the probability, we also used the national surveys on data drug usage, and we essentially created a multiplier system that scales the probability that a person will use a drug compared to the national drug usage. So, for example, we determined that the multiplier for marijuana usage is 2.5 for those aged 18 through 26, which means that if you're 20 years old, you're 2.5 times as likely as the average person to use marijuana.
And how about vaping? How did you figure what was the outcome on vaping?
So vaping, for the prediction model, it was categorized under nicotine. The numbers were also pretty high for those aged 18 through 25. I believe it is around 1.1 times more likely.
Okay, so you've got 875 participating teams. That's a lot of teams. And we're so proud of you, by the way. We're very proud of you and proud of your teacher. Now, when you actually go over and you participate in New York, how does that work? I mean, how do you conduct all of the research, and how do you come out with the outcome, and what's the process there?
So for New York, first we submit a paper around in March to the judges, and after about a month, they release the results. There are 3 judging results. The first is the triage, which about 15 to 20% of teams make, and then they release semifinalists and finalists. So finalists are top 6, and semifinalists are 7th through 12th place. Last year we were semifinalists, and this year we were fortunate enough to be finalists, and that's what allows us to qualify to go down to New York. And so in New York we will be...
Oh, that's what I mean. That's what I mean, hon. When you get there, and Paul, I know you'll be accompanying them. What is the process when they're in New York since they've made it to the finals? This is a very big deal, and I know there's a possibility that they could be winners of a scholarship, and we'll talk about that in a second. But what's the process when they get there?
Sure. So when we get to New York, there will be a panel of judges, and there will be professors and specialists in the topic for the year. And the team will have about 15 minutes to present their findings, followed by 5 to 10 minutes of questioning from these judges. And the judges really just trying to challenge the assumptions that the team makes. They're poking holes in the logic and seeing if the kids really understand what they put together.
So I'm sure that in your training, Angela, you've got people that are trying to poke holes into your discussion and your team while you're preparing, because you want to be able to have the toughest questions given to you right up front, right?
Yeah, so we, in preparation for the final presentation, we've had practice panels at school with math teachers from the math department, and they come up with questions for us and try to poke holes in our argument after we present for them.
And how have they responded? Have they been pretty supportive of you? Or have they been, or have they asked you really tough questions? We like the hard questions.
Oh, yeah, they've definitely asked really hard questions that have forced us to really think hard about certain parts of our models. But that's in a way that's supportive, because by doing so, they are helping us prepare for the final presentation, in which the questions are definitely going to be really hard.
Tell us about what the benefits of this are. I mean, other than the fact this is a great thrill for you and for your teacher, but I understand that there's potential scholarship money that might be won here. Give us a little background on that.
Yeah, so top 6 teams are guaranteed at least $5,000, I believe, that will be split between the members. And the money increases as you place higher, with first place winning $20,000 for the team. But I'd say the most rewarding aspect of this competition is that it spotlights applied mathematics as a powerful problem-solving tool, and it also shows students that math really is applicable to real-world problems, and it can be a really good option to explore as a career later on.
Oh, you're a wonderful, articulate spokesperson. And Paul, this is the second year that your team is doing so well. I mean, you're gaining a good reputation yourself at that school. I'm sure that the teachers are very proud of you, as well as the parents. Now, Angela, so will you go up with your teacher? Will you have a little time to go and check out New York?
Oh, yeah. Angela is actually going to be the one putting our itinerary together, so we're hoping that she chooses fun restaurants and places just to hang out while we review our material. So we'll be flying out on Sunday, and presentations start on Monday at about 7 a.m. For about 7 hours or so as we go through the process.
All right, so tell me now, I'm looking at Matthew and Joey and Tony and Joshua and yourself. Are you all juniors or some of you seniors? What's the breakdown there?
So everyone except for Josh is a senior. Josh is the only junior on our team. Yeah. And they're all really
smart. Great. I said he's got to be pretty smart.
Oh, yeah. Josh is really smart. I'd say all of our all of my teammates are really smart, really hardworking, and it was really fun. It was a really great chance to work together to improve that math and to learn more about modeling. I'd say we definitely have gotten a lot closer after this competition, and we've really bonded over this M3 challenge.
Well, as we say in math, that figures. So now the other thing is, yeah, I know, you have to sum that one up. Anyway, so now how does that help you when you're applying for colleges? Does it give you a little leg up there on the competition, Angela?
I'd say that by participating in this competition, it really shows that I care about math, which I do. Good. I really love math, and this is just an outlet for me to explore it. And I think.
Well, let me just wrap up here by wishing you all such good luck. Let us know what happens, okay? We're wishing the great young people from Adelaide East Stevenson High School, just around the corner here in Lincolnshire,